Hey everybody, I'm back. I know it's been a little while, guys, and I'm so very sorry. I've missed you all terribly. But I wanted to reach out to you all today before my birthday, which is tomorrow. So I'm really, really excited about that. So grateful that God has given me yet another year to just experience Him and make some great things happen along the way. So I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I had prayed about it, and I finally got it because I don't do anything without praying first. And I've been talking to people and just listening to. It seems like a number of us are in a season of just reaping what we've sown, and sometimes when you sow things, you're sowing it in just faith and sowing it in a dark place. Some of us are sowing it in an okay place, and some of us are sowing it in just on the mountaintop. So it just depends on where we are. Always be sowing. And I always say to my children, make sure that you're sowing your seeds on the right side of the spiritual fence, because there are two sides. And in this time and in this season, you'll reap a harvest on what you have sown. So I wanted to talk a little bit today. I always like to talk about it, and I don't like talking about God without referencing the Bible. So I was reading and studying and praying over Matthew 13, talking about sowing and reaping. And so it talks about how Jesus went out of the house and sat by a lake one day, and of course large crowds gathered, and he got in a boat, and it was so many people that they stood up just to hear him speak, and I just can't wait to have an opportunity to hear him speak. But he was talking in parables, as he normally does, and he was talking about a farmer, and he was talking about how the farmer went out to sow his seed. And he in around chapter 4, he says, as he was scattering seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. And then he went on in chapter 5 to say some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It was like it sprang up quickly because the soil was kind of shallow. And then it went on to chapter 6 to talk about, but when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Chapter 7 says, other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and they choked the plants. They just choked them. But then if you look at chapter 8, it talks about still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 160, even 30 times what was sown. And then he sealed it after he spoke it, and he said, whoever has ears, let them hear. So I just want to stop right there. And I want to talk about the process of sowing and reaping. Now, when we look at the first example here, when God was talking about it here, he was talking about how some fell along the path and birds came and they ate it up. I don't know how many of us hear the word of God and we get excited about it, but it's in one ear and out the other. We're too busy doing other things. We're too busy with, social media, with our job, relationships that are not about anything, whether it's friendships, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And just get so caught up that we don't even hear when God is talking to us, because we can't give him time because our ears are full of other things. So you can hear something and get excited when you hear it, but it just comes in and it goes out. And then he talked about how some of it was sown and then birds came in and ate it up. Sometimes we'll hear a word from God and things that we're supposed to do, and because we just have no root at all, just any circumstance or situation can come up and just steal it. Then there's other people who hear the word of God, believe it, receive it, and hold it. And then as soon as they get to the next day, or even sometimes after they hear that word and travel from point A to not even point B yet, a situation and a circumstance has come up and choked the word that was sown in your heart. But then it talks about good soil. In the midst of a storm, in the midst of a drought, in the midst of adversity, in the midst of pain, in the midst of goodness, in the midst of grace, in the midst of love, and in the midst of an overflow. Those who sow seed into that good soil reap a harvest of 100 times, 60, 30 times. I don't know about you, but I want to be that good soil that the word of God can fall on and penetrate, so that I can demonstrate everything by faith and be rooted in it. It's so easy to give up on yourself, but don't give up on God. He is awesome and amazing. The word of God is a book of living seed. And all you have to do is believe what you read and pray over it and meditate on it and sow seed into it. Sow seed into that word and hold on, and you will reap a harvest if you faint not. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Lord is saying to you. So my question today is plain and it's very simple. What kind of soil are you planting your seeds in? Are you planting your seeds in good soil? Are you good soil? Are you good soil? Are you shallow soil? Are you soil that's not tilled properly? You know, your temperament is off. The first thing you hear negative or something comes up, a challenge, you forget about God. And you can't reap a harvest that way. Or are you that good soil that the seed and the word of God can fall on and just penetrate and you hold on? Because let me tell you something about seeds. If you ever take a look at what happens on underground when you sow a seed and you water it, and I say when you're sowing the seed, which is the word of God, you water it by praying and meditating on it and just thanking God in advance and believing it. That's how you water a seed. Affirmations. You water a seed by just constantly believing it and speaking it. Is watering it. And if you know anything about how plants grow, they grow down and they get rooted first. And then after it's rooted and it's solid where it can't be moved, then all of a sudden a leaf will pop out. But it's so much strength up under that soil that is unbelievable. And that's how God is. That's how the word of God is when you just hold on. So I want to say to you today, and I want to ask you, before the week even starts, think about this week. What kind of farmer are you? And are you sowing seed on the right side, the correct side of the spiritual fence? Because you will reap a harvest on whatever side you plant in. And don't waste your time planting in places where you ain't going to receive no benefit at all. Plant on good ground. Are you good soil that the word of God can fall on and penetrate so that you can demonstrate and be a living testimony of what God can do in your life? So I've missed you guys. I missed you terribly, and I am so glad to be back. And I look forward to growing with each and every one of you. Please make sure that you all like this. Make sure that you comment, talk to me about more things that you'd like for me to discuss, and hit that bell so that whenever I upload something, you get an alert. But I just want to ask you, what type of farmer are you? And are you good soil? God bless you guys, and have a great week. Take care.